Okay, guys, welcome back to the show, 7:35 a.m. I got this little thing, that I do. I like to promote true conservatives, like those who run as Republicans. I like it when they actually act like Republicans. So in a recent conclusion by the Oklahoma Conservative Index, 4 legislators scored a perfect 100% conservative rating this year. Among those were Warren Hamilton, Jim Olson, Rick West, and Tom Gann. As it would be, I have Representative Tom Gann on the show this morning because I like to have true conservatives on. So welcome, Representative Gann.
It's always good to be on here, Jake. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the work you do. And, I want to dig into this topic of discussion in Oklahoma of late. It is the override of the governor's veto regarding these tribal compacts. The House just met this week on Monday to conclude the special session, and the House, as a body, was aligned with the Senate in overriding these vetoes. What do you think about this?
I think it's lawlessness is what I think. The government is about process here. And when we don't follow the Constitution or statute that's laid out, well, I think we have a problem with just a basic lack of understanding of what our role is as a legislature. And clearly it's spelled out in the Constitution and statutorily reflects the Constitution. The statute reflects the Constitution that the governor is the sole authority to negotiate with the tribes over these tribal compacts. And what happened on Monday, on the 31st, is the state legislature ignored the Constitution, ignored Title 68 that reinforces the Constitution and Title 74, and ruled to override the governor's veto on his ability to compact with the tribes. I called it, on the House floor, not necessarily an override, but an overthrow, an attempted overthrow of his position and authority.
Man, so we saw that on the Senate side. Senator Dom stood up and said the same thing. Hey, this is just a violation of the Oklahoma Constitution. And are we going to pick and choose when we align with the Constitution and obey it or not? Because this is the oath all of the representatives swore to. So I don't understand how they simply disregard it whenever it's convenient for them.
They did, and you're absolutely right. We all swear an oath to uphold and defend the Oklahoma Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, and then we should abide by this very statute that we pass. And this was totally ignored by the legislature on the 31st, and it's just much deeper than that. I feel like the people are frustrated with the governor, and that's understandable. Yet he is the executive. He is the governor. And you have to respect the Constitution. If you don't like what position he's in, then we need to rewrite the Constitution to say he's no longer the authority, the person to negotiate with the tribe.
Now, I guess the justification that was given was, hey, this deals with budget. And so that would give then the legislation the open door to get involved. Is that kind of the excuse that was given?
That was the call of the special session. We were understood to believe, told to believe that in case the governor vetoed any of the budget issues, the special session is called in order to be able to override anything he might have vetoed on the budget. Now, you could actually say anything that we do down there at some point in time touches the budget. Yet tribal compacting was never a part of the call. And I mentioned that on the House floor during my debate that the call, I asked the floor leader, you can go out and see the debate online. I asked him, is it true that was the tribal compacts in this call? And he basically just blew the answer off and said that it was what it was. It reads as it reads. So we really did not have – I do not think that the call was a part of the special session, nor should it have been.
Now, you also wrote a letter recently to Attorney General Drummond. Just to quote a bit of this letter here. Go ahead.
Well, this is another thing behind the scenes that nobody has really been able to talk about. There's been a few things in the on non-doc about it, another press, but soon in the middle of June we met as a caucus to discuss the request by the AG. His request to us, the word was, I'm seeking your entreaty on the support to take over this governor's lawsuit. And I think by anybody's estimation, there was really not any support in the House for that. And yet, a few days later, we received a mail from the Speaker of the House saying that the House supports his effort in this.
Wow.
I fired off an email to the Speaker saying, we have a process here in government. We write a resolution and we pass it. Then you can say, by this official action, that the House supports whatever the AG is doing. But without that, this is just your opinion.
Yeah, it should have said House Speaker McCall supports this, not the House.
Exactly. And then that went out to the Speaker. The Speaker sent that out to the AG, and then I had to respond publicly because I did not support the AG taking away the governor's lawsuit or stepping in and assuming that lawsuit. He doesn't have the authority to do that. And he cited a statute that says that he does, but there is statute that says otherwise that we were not told about. And when you got to dig in and find out what the statute actually says, but positionally, constitutionally, the governor is above the AG. The AG is an advisor to the governor, and so constitutionally he can't do this. But then the response from the council of the governor to the House and to the Senate was, in my mind, convincing to me that we are way off base supporting the AG in this takeover. It is an ethical violation for an attorney to assume a lawsuit or to take a lawsuit and try to settle it contrary to what the client wants. There's a huge ethical issue here, but I do not think that it is supported by the Constitution or statutorily that the AG has the ability to do this. Now, I did not like the Speaker stepping in and speaking for me when I gave him no vote whatsoever in the affirmative or negative about this issue. He took advantage of that and really denied me my voice as a representative of my district to step in and say that for us. And it's being used as a club to justify what the AG is doing, because the last letter to the governor from the AG says, I have been requested by the House and Senate. Well, there has been no official request made. It has only been made by the Speaker, by the pro tem, who say they represent the House. And that was what was contained in my letter to the AG, is that this is just an opinion of one representative. It's not an official action of the House, and it doesn't represent me. And so if you present this in a court of law that says that you have the support of the House, I'd appreciate you presenting my letter as well, saying it's not an official action, nor do you have a consensus of the entire House of Representatives.
Did you have any response from the Speaker whenever you submitted this letter?
None whatsoever.
Wow. Okay.
So, and the Speaker and the Senate pro tem did the same thing, as far as I can tell from the letter. I've talked to a couple of senators who I asked, did y'all have any official vote, and there really wasn't one. So we have a lot of moving parts in this, and the governor is being surrounded by the AG, by the Speaker of the House, and by the pro tem, and they are just trying to ramrod and to just overthrow thing with the tribes. And I really believe that if we are going to do right by the tribes, we should follow the law and the process ourselves if we expect them to.
No doubt.
If we're out of bounds on this, we need to stop and do things the right way.
Yeah. Part of this just points to the broader issue of the structure within the House and the Senate. With this top-heavy structure, I want to see both in the House and the Senate the committee chairman voted on by the body instead of appointed by leadership. I think that would help balance out the power because we have moves like this that I think just highlight this mindset in the leadership that thinks that they can just act arbitrarily, act unilaterally, and represent all of Oklahoma, every district, without a vote. And that's very concerning. It's not representing the people. It's not a republic. And moves like this, I'm so glad you highlighted it and brought it to the attention of Oklahoma because these need to be highlighted. This is egregious wrong done to Oklahomans where they're not being representative. If you're not given a voice as their representative, then the people themselves are shut down. And so this needs to be corrected. I would love to see the speaker and pro tem respond to this.
I think they should. I think we need to backtrack on this and have another. It's really meaningless without an official action, and you cannot silence the rest of us and blanket represent the House when you don't have any official action that takes into consideration the minority. It's all about the minority and giving them a voice. Well, we're blocked out. And that comes from just exactly what you said. We have these long-serving speakers and pro tems, and they become imperialistic. They become dictatorial because they know they have the votes to do anything they want to do. But then when they step outside the process and just do it anyway, then it has to be reined in. We are a nation of laws, not of men. We have process that is required to protect freedom, and that's just what we have to. That's what we have to go back to.
Yes. Well, everyone, we're listening to Representative Tom Gann, one of 4 legislators who received a perfect score on the conservative index. And if you heard our conversation, you know why. He is representing the people. So many who get elected forget that they're actually up there not for their own glorification, but to represent the people. And so, Representative Gann, I so appreciate you in the fight. We stand with you, and we'll continue to pray for you as you represent the people.
Thank you, Jake. And I want to be reminded that there's a tremendous money influence on the government down at the state capitol. And myself and Rick West out of Heavener, we're the only 2 members of the House of Representatives that do not take lobbyist money or PAC money. And that gives us the ability to stand up and say no when we have to, and just it gives us a tremendous freedom to do the right thing for our constituents. Absolutely.
Wow. We need more. Thank you for that example. I so appreciate your time. Let's do it again soon.
Let's do. Thank you, Jake.
All right. God bless.